This is Morten from Inkish. We are here at Müller Martini's headquarters in Zofingen in Switzerland. And I mean, everybody knows Müller Martini for the blue-collared binding machines, and that's fantastic. But I'm going to talk to Christoph, who is also going to tell us a little bit about how the software Connex is actually a huge advantage for users of the Müller Martini equipment. So, Christoph, good to see you.
Good to see you, Martin.
I mean, last time I saw you, that was virtually in a webinar you did with your American colleagues, right?
Yeah, I remember.
I guess you're always busy, right?
Yeah, we are,
Yeah.
especially this time,
Yeah,
right before Drupal. Yeah, you
can-
can imagine.
Yeah. I said in my introduction that I wanted to talk to you about software, and I was just wondering, I mean, when you have binding equipment like both the Honkler and also the Müller Martini here, can you use any kind of workflow software for feeding the machines with the right information?
Sure, you can, but it makes sense to have a workflow from Müller Martini, in particular Connex. That's our workflow system which we use, because it brings all the positive points which you need, getting more speed out of the finishing equipment, as well make processes easier for the press, help the operators there. I mean, all the positive things will be coming from this tool.
So what you say is basically that by investing in Connex software together with the binding equipment, you optimize not only the binding side, but also the printing side.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big point, and that's very important for us, because we've quite some time in the digital printing business already, and we made our steps and figured out on every customer project you find something more out, and that's how we figured out how to develop and even strengthen that side a lot in order to make it easier and get more out of the performance. It's not only about steel and software on the machine side. A big portion is really the workflow, the connection of all that.
One thing that we're not going to talk to so much about right now, because you're going to show me some examples in a moment, but you showed us just before we turned on the camera an example of a press where let's say the built-in workflow software was not able to make the real, let's say, size of and basically that means that it would have been produced inefficiently, or there would have been too much waste if you didn't use the Connex, right?
Exactly. I mean, the point over there is that the press is a digital press, but it's not capable of printing variable frame length, so variable sizes from within one job. And this way we sliced the job into 4 pages basically, even though our machine afterward finishes 8 and 12 pages out of it. So we have the best performance out of our equipment.
So you're cheating the machines.
Yeah, we are cheating the machines, yeah.
Fantastic. So I think that it could be great to understand a little bit about what you do on the imposition side, because I think it was you have prepared a good example here.
Yeah.
So you have a 28-page
stitched brochure,
yeah.
Exactly.
And typically, I mean, if you print that on let's say an offset machine, you would have, if it's a B1 machine, you have a 16-page signature.
Exactly.
You have an 8-page signature.
Exactly.
And then you would have a 4-page cover, for example, right?
Exactly.
And that is like 3 processes, but in digital you can do it much smarter, right?
Yeah, you do it in one process, basically. And what we have here, it's 3 different signatures at the end. We see it here, signature 1, signature 2, and signature number 3. And as you can imagine, 3 times 8 is in Switzerland 28.
That's smart, right? And I thought you were good at banks and mathematics here, right? Okay, you have a secret.
Yeah, exactly. So we have an 8-page over here. Then we got another 8-page. It's 16 together, and we have a 12-page, as you can see over here, and that's then the 28 pages.
So basically, that enables you to, when you plan your jobs correctly and you use the right software for doing it, basically this comes out of a role-based finishing system, right?
Exactly.
So
Nobody needs to worry.
Yeah. So basically, because the role is endless, you can basically make these signatures into. And you told me that you choose 8 and 12 pages because you can basically achieve all combinations of page numbers, right?
Exactly. With an 8 and a 12 page, you can go from 8 page all the way up to whatever page number you want to have. And in stitching, you always need to have 4-page, which is the slowest step. So you have almost no empty pages, or no empty pages. With the
when you stitch a product like this, depending on the thickness of the paper, you can of course have some, I think it's called creep, right?
Creeping and jingling,
yeah, precisely. Is that something that you have to do manually in the positions? Okay, maybe you can show us a little bit.
Exactly. Let's take a look here at that screen. We see here, for example, this 13 page, and on the bottom is the 10 page. So that's all on the 12 page. And you see here the correction of the width of the product, which was corrected inside and outside of the folding. That's all automatic by the thickness of the paper. Because of the imposition process, we know the thickness of the paper and we can compensate for that.
So when you compensate, is that based on shifting the image or shifting the position of it? Or because I mean, normally when you have things, you want to have the packing, you want to have it in the same position.
Exactly.
So how do you actually do this?
You can decide where you want to take the reference of on the inside or on the outside, and then we just stretch the image a little bit.
Yeah. And I mean, as you can see here, it is a very little because it's basically on a 28-page brochure. It's not. But if you had like, how thick can you go on stitching today? I mean,
we can go by this machine we have behind us 10 millimeters in thickness pressed. Okay. So depends on the pagination or on the paper thickness. That could be over 100. Okay. 150 or even more.
Okay, so basically this is very important because you basically, and as you
especially if you have full bleed. I mean, if you don't have bleed, if you only have white, then it's easy. But here on the outside, for example, on the 28 page here, where we have some bleed, and if that would be go all the way down here, then it would be very important.
While you have this one, I can't help think about, because we spoke about that as well. You have a barcode here, right?
Yeah.
What is that used for?
The barcode is to control the machine and to check the sequence, if we are in sequence, if we have the right product, and have the information already once the product is coming. We know already, is it 28 page? And then we can reference the thickness and make sure we have the right quality of a product.
So what we see here and what we see here in print, is basically something that Connex software take care of automatically.
Exactly.
Okay. And is that machine dependent? Because I mean, if you are a PSP and you have a lot of, even if it's a lot of Müller Martini equipment, but does it mean that you have to be very specific on what machine you? I mean, I remember when you were preparing the job, you selected what machine and use. Is that because the barcodes?
Because of exactly these codes. Yeah. We can place almost every code in every position, but I mean, if you load your recipe, and that's the recipe for stitching, then it will place it over here. Because it also depends on the process. I mean, here on stitching, we saw that they are just gathered together. Let's take a look over here. That's thread sewing. Two examples of thread sewing. Let's take a look here. The first page is here, and the last page is here. So they are on different signatures. Compare on stitching, it was on the same one.
Because just for people to see that, I mean, if you take the, let's say we have the cover
this
here.
One, exactly.
You can basically see that here it is on the same signature, and here it's on two different signatures. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me rip that apart.
Should be difficult when it's a thread.
So these two signatures, they are gathered, and then they were put on top of the other one.
Smart. And that is also something. So basically, when you have a product coming into the Connex software and you load the software, and you basically select your binding method, you select what equipment is going to use to do it, and then basically the machine takes care of the number of pages it inputs. Can you also choose which? I mean, is it always like a specific sheet that is 12 pages, for example, or is it? Can that be randomly selected?
Yeah, usually you give that all with the job ticket, with the JDF file. Over there you say how many copies, what binding equipment, and what head trim, foot trim, and all that, that's fully automated. We don't want to click over here and say how the job looks like. That needs to be automated. Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense.
I can't help think about, because I mean, I see a lot of advantages using the Connex software, but I also truly understand that if printing companies have a mixed environment with analog, digital equipment, binding equipment from you and from others, right? I mean, how easy is it to integrate? I mean, everybody talks about APIs and open integration with each other. I mean, do you also work with, I mean, let's say that I have let's say that you just acquired Honkler, but let's say that it's a year ago, you were not, you didn't own them. If I had a Honkler equipment and some Müller Martini equipment, do I then have to have two different kinds of software?
No,
or?
not at all. I mean, already a year ago, once nobody knew about this great merge, which I very much like, but over there we were already integrating Honkler. We had an optional on the Connex to integrate third-party equipment. And I mean, then it just needs maybe some other codes and some other positions. But
so that basically means that if I am a Müller Martini customer and I'm working in a mixed environment, I can ask you to help me integrating my
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Interesting. One thing that we forgot to talk about when we look at these ones, and maybe we have already put it somewhere else.
No, it's here, I think. Regarding the 8 and 12 and how many numbers you...
No, I was thinking you had like this cover slip, basically.
Oh, the cover slip we put away.
See, I thought there was something we forgot. Because the reason why I got to think about this is basically when you showed the imposition front end here just before, it calculated the length of the paper that I was going to use for the job, obviously.
Exactly.
Right? And then you said, but when we finish the imposition, it adds a little bit to it because you're basically printing this one every time, right?
Exactly. I mean, the customer can decide if he wants to have it, if he wants to have 2 at the end, 3, or 1 at the beginning, or whatever. We do almost every wish of the customer. This is just an example. Usually our customer places here a barcode where they can scan at the end, and then that prints the label for the box with the shipping information. So they can take their stack out of the stacker, put it into the box, close it, or scan first this one, that we get the label, put it on the box, put it on the pallet, and then shipping is done already.
Looks like a fantastic piece of software you've done here.
Yeah,
right?
definitely, yeah.
So anything that we have forgot to talk about when we talk about the imposition part of it? That was, I think, that one of the things we decided that we wanted to show our audience, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I think we pretty much have everything, yeah. I mean, if you want to learn more about this, then I welcome you to come at the Drupa booth. Over there, I will show that again. And after the normal show times, I can also go much deeper into some details.
And I was just about to say that, are you there for all 11 days?
Yeah, sure. Not only for the 11, also for the startup and teardown. Yeah.
Fantastic. Christoph, good to see you.
Thanks, Morten.
Thank you.